Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Folks, the American economy is changing. Unemployment benefits have ended, but employers are baffled because many job vacancies still exist. Let's dig deeper into this and I'll give you the full story. Welcome to our channel, everyone. My name is Dr. Chhoda, and this right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Now, it's been over 2 weeks since the federal unemployment benefits ended, and my personal belief is that they should have been extended specifically for those who need help the most. But right now, Congress is in a state of gridlock. In fact, the Democrats themselves cannot come up with a clear plan to pass a $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. And there have been Democratic lawmakers who want to try and pass an extension of unemployment benefits within that bill. But the problem now is that there are a lot of vacancies and employers are completely baffled as to why there are so many vacancies. In fact, here's a quote from Richard Walquist, who's the president of American Staffing Association, which, by the way, is America's largest recruitment industry group. Richard says this: people who have been on the sidelines have by and large stayed on the sidelines. Nothing has changed in regard to the benefits that have fallen off, and the need for people continues to grow. In fact, Richard himself is struggling. He's looking for 10 temporary workers to help at the organization's conference in Denver at the end of the month, and they're paying $25 an hour. So far, he's got only 2 people. What's happening is across the country, a lot of staffing firms and businesses are trying to get more people back on payroll. In fact, Goldman Sachs said, and their economists forecast that the expiration of the federal program, the unemployment benefits, which, by the way, affected half of the U.S. states after the other half had ended unemployment benefits early, Goldman Sachs predicted that this would add 1.3 million people to payrolls by the end of the month. However, it is not starting to happen. So what's happening is that the great labor shortage is existing. In fact, it's growing, and there are a record 10.9 million job openings in the month of July. Here's a quote from Anne Elizabeth Conkell, who's an economist at Indeed, and she says this: we're only going to see the impact of the federal UI benefits ending a couple of months from now. I don't think we're going to see a big spike one way or another, really. We thought things should be better by Labor Day, and they're not. So what is happening, folks? One of the reasons could be pent-up savings, according to Daniel Zhao, who's a senior economist at Glassdoor. Stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, and all the social safety net programs have driven the savings rate to a record 34% in the last year, and they remain elevated. Here's a chart on your screen that shows you how much money Americans have. Months of stimulus checks have actually raised the average savings rate for the average American. So in fact, the average savings rate in 2020 was as high as a whopping 35%. Think about that, folks. It's never been that way since we started keeping records, and now that rate is at 9.6%, which, by the way, if you look at this chart, you'll see that the 3-month moving average is significantly higher than it was back in 2017, 2018, and 2019. What does this mean? This means that people have more money saved up. In fact, a lot of employers thought that there would be a significant increase in the number of online applications, but guess what? It hasn't happened. Here's a quote from Joni Billy, who's the chief workforce analyst at Atlanta-based Employ Bridge, and she thought that things would come back on track pretty quickly. Here's a quote from Billy: I've been asking all of our locations across the US, are you busier? How does it feel since the benefits have ended? And by the way, Billy's firm connects employers with companies across the US focusing on manufacturing, logistics, and call centers. And here's another important quote: I pulled the data last night and I thought it would be better, but it's not. Folks, people are not getting back into the workforce. In fact, in the restaurant industry, job applications have actually declined 3 to 4% each week for the past 9 weeks, including the period following the expiration of the boosted benefits, according to Restaurant 365, which is a restaurant management software company. According to Tony Smith, who's the CEO and founder of the company, that's contrary to many predictions that aid was a primary factor keeping restaurant workers out of the workforce. Folks, this goes to show that all the Republican states ending the unemployment benefits early were absolutely wrong. Just because the unemployment benefits have ended does not mean people are going to rush back to work. In fact, there have been other reasons, including safety, including childcare, including someone reevaluating their options and saying, hey, I don't want to go back to that same job. I want to look for a different job. Maybe I want to switch careers. Maybe I want to start my own business. And why not, folks? I want each and every one of our viewers and subscribers to live the American dream. One thing is for sure, the extra unemployment benefits may have been keeping some individuals at home, but for the most part, they have not, I repeat, not resulted in individuals just trying to take advantage of the system like a lot of our lawmakers thought, and the extra unemployment benefits did not act as a disincentive for people to return to work. The lawmakers were absolutely wrong about that. In fact, the reason for all these missing workers, like I mentioned earlier, can be childcare barriers, not being able to find childcare, which, by the way, is a serious problem because daycares are actually losing important staff members. My 2-year-old daughter goes to a daycare and they've been losing employees. They lost their manager. They lost a number of key employees. A lot of daycares are actually struggling right now. In addition to childcare barriers, there's a mismatch between skills. An individual may have a certain set of skills, but they don't want to work in that job anymore. Healthcare concerns are prominent, especially for individuals in the travel, leisure, entertainment and hospitality industry. And also, this is a big one, a mass reallocation of work as people reconsider their careers. In fact, here's another quote from Walquist. As people look at their bank accounts and realize we're coming to the holiday season, we hope people have more incentive to come back. Let me ask our viewers and subscribers a question. Do any of these factors apply to you? Childcare barriers that are preventing you from getting back to work, a mismatch in your skills, health concerns, actual concerns about your safety, particularly if you're in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality. And most importantly, are you reconsidering your job? Are you thinking of resigning from your main job and essentially switching careers, essentially a mass reallocation of work? Because many people are indeed reconsidering their careers. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I want you to know that I work hard on this channel every single day and I'll continue to do so. I appreciate you. I work hard on this channel always and I'll continue to do that. Please follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. And you'll be able to keep up with all the news stories I follow in real time and follow along with me. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I want you to know I work hard. Please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.